Welcome to the Genealogy radio show, the radio show that's keeping you in the loop. And this week's show, we have got a fascinating team, the Genealogy Wolves, and they've explored the themes of genealogy and business. And we'll be looking at that for Series 14 for RCB and the Genealogy radio show. So to start with, we have Kewan, who is going to explore the Guinness family for this week's show. And welcome, Kewan, to the show today.
Thank you very much.
Firstly, could you tell me a little bit about Arthur Guinness family before the creation of the Guinness brand?
Yes, so the history of Guinness begins with Arthur Guinness himself, who was born in Selbridge in County Kildare in 1725. And Arthur's father, Richard Guinness, was a steward for the Archbishop of Cashel, Reverend Arthur Price. Subsequently, Arthur Guinness was the godson of the Archbishop, and when the Archbishop passed away, he left his young godson £100. With this money, Arthur bought and opened a brewery in Leixlip, Dublin in 1759. And within 6 years, Arthur had expanded into St. James's Park in Dublin to begin the long dynasty of the internationally successful multinational corporation, Guinness. If we wind back the clock to Arthur's grandparents, his grandfather on his mother's side, William Reid, was a farmer. Despite this, William Reid got a brewing license in 1690 and began to sell homemade beers from a roadside stall to troops traveling to the Jacobite Wars. Similarly, Arthur's father, Richard, used to brew beers for the Archbishop's staff in his spare time. Arthur Guinness's family were common Protestants. Despite this, recent DNA tests have shown that the Guinness family descended from the McCartan clan from County Down. From the 1100s to the 1600s, the McCartan clan were prominent and in control of much of mid-County Down. The McCartans were once High Kings of Ireland. Interestingly, Arthur Guinness is not the only famous name associated with the McCartan clan. French President Charles de Gaulle has been linked to the clan through his grandmother, Angelique Marie McCartan. Returning to Arthur Guinness's immediate family, it is clear to see Arthur's family were middle-class Protestants. Arthur was the eldest of 6 siblings, and throughout his life he remained a devoted member of the Church of Ireland. His father, Richard Guinness's family, were farmers from Ballsbridge in Dublin. However, the year before Richard was born, the family relocated to Selbridge in County Clare. Arthur's mother, Elizabeth Reid, was born and raised in the same vicinity and subsequently is buried in Selbridge, County Kildare. Elizabeth Reid passed away in 1742 when Arthur was just 17 years old. Despite this, Arthur's father remarried in 1752 to a lady named Elizabeth Clare. It is hard to know or interpret exactly where Arthur Guinness got his raging ambition from, but it is clear to see that Arthur came from a tight-knit family. The company of Guinness was established on family roots, and when Arthur married his wife Olivia, they had 23 children, 10 of which survived. Because of this, the Guinness dynasty passed from generation to generation for many centuries. I'll now hand you over to Lucas, who can take over.
Thank you very much, Kewan, for that. So Lucas, welcome as one of the Genealogy Wolves. And what would you say are the links between Ireland and Britain in relation to Guinness and the Guinness family?
Well, nowadays the Guinness company is regarded as being quintessentially Irish. However, the history of the business has many influences from Britain. The Guinness family always had a unique distinction among Irish families as an Anglo-Irish dynasty. In 1759, Arthur Guinness leased St. James's Gate in Dublin with that famous 9,000-year lease for £45 a month. The brewery would become well known for its good environment and the loyalty of its employees. Arthur Guinness began brewing stocks of ale, shipping 6.5 barrels to England. Later in 1778, Arthur began producing porter, an English invention by Ralph Harwood, with roasted barley, producing a drink that had a dark ruby color and a rich aroma. This soon became the staple of his brewing business due to its success in the markets. In the early years, the brewery actually never hired Catholics. Arthur produced different types of porter for sales in different parts of the world, the most prominent being West India Porter, or Guinness Foreign Extra Stout. It became very popular in all the corners of the world under British rule, from Barbados to Sierra Leone to Nigeria. And in 2007, Nigeria overtook Ireland as the second largest market for Guinness. His son, Arthur II, expanded the trade of the business to these destinations and invented a new recipe for porter called Guinness Extra Superior Porter, which sold well in Britain due to its stronger taste. He would then pass the business down to his son Benjamin, beginning a 5-generation trend of dynasty for the Guinness business. Brewing was not the only success of the Guinness family, however. As noted earlier, the Guinness family was an Anglo-Irish lineage, a term used to describe families who were part of a social class which were a mixture of native Irish and descendants of British Protestants. Arthur Guinness derived his Irish origins from the family MacArtin, a clan that ruled as lords of Kinalurty in County Down. As part of the ascendancy, they had some power in the economic, social, and political makeup of Ireland between the 17th and 20th centuries. The Guinness family certainly fitted the characteristic of those parts of the ascendancy, having deep connections to economic and political institutions in both Ireland and Britain. For example, the constituency of Southend was prominently held by 4 members of the Guinness family for most of the 20th century. Rupert Guinness, his wife Gwendolen, their eldest daughter's husband, Henry Channon, and his son Paul, all held the seat from Southend from 1918 to 1997. Their deep connection with the Southend constituency gave the seat the nickname Guinness-on-Sea. In terms of politics, Arthur Guinness supported Henry Grattan in the 1780s and 90s. Grattan wanted Ireland, still under England, to be able to make its own legislation. Also, Grattan wanted to reduce beer taxes. Arthur Guinness didn't want independence. He was in the Irish Patriot Party, which believed Ireland had a brighter future in union with England. Arthur was actually named a spy in 1797 by the Union Star newspaper, which wrote, "A brewer at St. James's Gate, an active spy, United Irishmen will be cautious with dealing with any publican who sells his drink." Arthur feared violent rebellions against the English, such as the United Irishmen, like Wolfe Tone's rebellion, but he didn't support the resulting Act of Union in 1801, which disbanded the Irish Parliament. The religious branch of the Guinness family was also very successful. Hosea Guinness, one of the original 20 children of Arthur, eldest of the sons, he attended Oxford University, getting a Bachelor degree of Arts, and later Trinity College in Dublin, getting a Doctorate of Law. He would become rector at St. Werburgh's in Dublin and Chancellor of St. Patrick's Cathedral. His branch family's crest said Spes mea in Deo, which meant my faith in God. He had 13 children himself in this branch family. He was a Protestant rector, of course. I'll hand you over now.
Thank you very much, Lucas. And we're going to be going on to Cian. So welcome, Cian, to the radio show today.
Thank you very much.
And tell us what you have as part of the genealogy wolves.
The Guinness Company was already 63 years old when it began its renowned history with advertising. The first and only advertisement used when the Guinness family was running was a simple printed image of a large man happy out with his keg of Guinness. Under this was the words health, peace, and prosperity. This was published in the Gentleman's Magazine. The Guinness family has expanded its business across the world. They considered buying land in the United States of America, but as Canada was only developing at the time, they chose to invest their large amount of money there instead. They were behind the construction of the Lions Gate Bridge in Vancouver, to connect their land in West Vancouver to the rest of Canada. The British Pacific Properties was founded as a development company to manage their 4,000 acres of land in West Vancouver, which is still going on today. One of Arthur Guinness's descendants, Ned Guinness, is the 4th Earl of Iva and currently owns a 22,500 acre estate in Suffolk called Elvedon. Originally purchased in 1894, 6% of all onions grown in the UK are grown in Elvedon. Arthur Guinness's son, Arthur Guinness II, was instrumental in the expansion of Guinness worldwide. Taking over from his father in 1803, he created Guinness Extra Stout to be exported to the UK and beyond. In 1817, he sent 8 barrels of Guinness to South Carolina. By the 1820s, Guinness was being exported to Lisbon, New York, Barbados, and Sierra Leone. By the late 19th century, 1.2 million barrels of Guinness were being sold per year across the world. In 1936, Rupert Guinness, another descendant of Arthur Guinness, oversaw the construction of the first Guinness brewery to be built outside of Ireland at Park Royal in London. Guinness first started being exported to Britain in 1769. Guinness has been sold and distributed in Africa as far back as 1827. To this day, about 40% of all Guinness is brewed and sold in Africa, with foreign extra stout being the most popular Guinness in Africa. In 1929, Guinness adopted the slogan, "Guinness is good for you," and this remained their slogan for 40 years. This advertisement was used worldwide and gained the company tons of traction and popularity over the decades. In Sierra Leone, for example, in 1968, they were still using the slogan, "Guinness is good for you," and they had posters with the phrase, "You can feel your glass of Guinness doing you good. Guinness Stout is a really fine drink. Guinness is good for you." In 1983, Guinness decided they wanted to make a conscious effort to make Guinness a cult beer in the UK and decided to take more strides to achieve this. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Guinness ran darkly advertisements starring actor Rutger Hauer in the UK to boost sales. They were branded with the slogan of "pure genius" and were massively popular. One Guinness ad referred to famed Antarctic explorer and kerryman Tom Crean. Guinness has some history in Antarctica, where an Australian expedition left a keg behind, and years later it was picked up by an unrelated expedition. We could not find anything on the taste though. In 1999, Guinness ran an advertisement which was dubbed Surfer. Here shows the distinctive black and white stock with men and horses riding over a wave. The metaphor of white horses illustrating the power of the wave. In 2001, Guinness won the Clio Award for an Advertiser of the Year for this Surfer campaign. Guinness is brewed under license internationally in several countries, including Nigeria, the Bahamas, Canada, and Cameroon. In 2010, the USA alone consumed about 955,000 hectoliters of Guinness. Guinness is brewed in 49 countries and sold in over 150 countries. Guinness owns 5 breweries in 5 different countries, 3 of which are in Africa. Every day before the COVID-19 pandemic, about 10 million glasses of Guinness were sold around the world. Now I will hand over to Connor.
Thank you, Cian, for that interesting business account. And Connor? So what we've got to finalize our show today is basically we're looking at the legacies of the Guinness family as we go forward. And the family have given a massive amount to Irish society. Their legacy in brewing is legendary. They're a unique selling point, and they were famed for bringing in the first Sunday school into Ireland and quite a lot of other aspects as well. So without further ado, we'll be just looking at the various different little points, and it's time for me to introduce you to the Genealogy Wolves, who really are going to bring a lot to our Series 14. We'll have no problem filling up our business side of the Genealogy radio show. And there's a lot to do with you know, families aren't just about names and dates, they're about context and places and stories as well. So I'd like to thank the Genealogy Wolves for today's show. Very interesting indeed. And we'd have more on the Guinness family as well as we go through the series, because they're intrinsic in showing us what life was like for our ancestors, where some of our ancestors worked, and also even why it's called porter. It was called porter because it was one of the favorite drinks of those porting or carrying. To port meaning to carry things from the newly burgeoning forms of transport and railways that were there at the time. So they show us what industrialization was like as well, and how the effects of that are going on in society. So that's all for today. We're going to have some interesting announcement for 2021. We have a summer school planned for Skellig Cree. That was where Star Wars was planned. So we have a digital school planned this year, but we're hoping against hope that we will actually be running a traditional school this summer. But if not, we'll definitely be running a digital school. So if you're interested in that, please do contact me on same on irishroots@clansandsurnames.com. And our shows are podcast out. We have over 12 series, and we'll be updating our index for same with the help of the Genealogy Wolves, who are 8 students on placement with Merriman Research for the next 6 months. So that's all for today, and thank you very much for listening.